You just replayed it.
Yeah.
I thought you started it
Yeah,
over
I thought it was a
again.
loop. Yeah.
I thought it was going to end too. For those of you that don't realize what was going on there, I clicked like a little intro song, and it just apparently keeps looping on this program if you don't stop it. So that's good to know. Catchy song, but welcome back. We are back for another episode of the Grouchy Anime Club. This month we are going over the popular anime Soul Eater from 2008. If you like the podcast and you want to help support the show, make sure to check out our Patreon at GrouchyGuest94 over on patreon.com. Everybody, how you doing? We're back for another month. Chase, we missed you last month. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We had a little bit of an episode last month. We talked about a little show called Gurran Laggan. Now, you missed the episode. What did you think of Gurran Laggan?
It was not good. I was so excited for it right away because
Be
like
fighting words.
the first when they're like when he's drilling and it's like that type of like animation, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be cool. And then it completely switched, and it just every time they're like, oh, what's the solution? Let's combine again. Like that was the solution every single time.
And
it
I'm
was
sorry, but it worked every single time. So it was a great solution. I don't know what
It's
you're
like-
talking about.
It's like I was like right away. I was like, "Oh, they're combining. That's kind of cool," you know. And then the second time, I was like, "Oh, I guess so." And then the third time, I was like, "I think this is just gonna keep happening." Like, and that was
First
like
of all, wait.
6.
They didn't just combine. They combined in a cool, manly way.
Yeah, and manly spirit is required, man.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, but you knew it was happening after the 17th time. You knew the next like 4 times the same
I mean,
thing.
you breathe the same way every time. It doesn't get repetitive.
Oh,
We're just happy
man.
it happens.
Yeah, but I don't make a TV show about me breathing. Like that's
could.
the thing.
You
No,
could. I'd
it's-
watch it just for
I
you.
would totally watch it.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
Especially if you did it in a manly way. I mean, maybe not breathing into my microphone, but like, I don't know, maybe you're cutting wood and breathing. Deal. I'm in. I think there's a lot of thirst on TikTok for that one dude who just grunts and cuts wood. So that's essentially what you're doing.
Yeah, it's not watching that. I was like, I don't think I will ever like an anime because if this is Garrett, talk this thing up so he's like, it's so good. It's like Robot Fighter. It's gonna be great. And I'm like, I am never gonna like an anime. Like I am like taping my eyeballs open watching these, and I'm like, I'm not enjoying myself. It's just not like, oh, what are you doing tonight? I'm watching anime. Oh, you like anime? No, I don't. But I'm doing an anime club, and I'm just suffering through it. Oh, it's great. Like nipple chafing is more enjoyable than some of these animes that I've watched up to this point. But
I don't know what happened, you guys. I didn't anticipate this. When I was talking to Chase, I kind of kept this a secret from everybody because like, I don't know what to do with this information. I just kind of closeted it until this moment.
Absolutely. There's a helicopter, and I can only bring in like 5 people. I'm going to cut that bottom right square out. I'm just going to whoop.
Every
Josh?
party needs a pooper.
I guess that's true. Oh boy.
So Josh, you watched Gurran Lagann, but after we finished the episode, you dropped a bomb on us that you stopped at the recap episode, so you missed the whole future part, right?
Yep, I missed the time skip completely.
So what did you think? Did you get a chance to go and finish the rest of Gurran Lagann?
And I would just like to remind you before you start, there is a right and wrong answer here. So, just so you know.
Yeah, you're now being graded.
Yeah, I'm absolutely taking notes.
Yeah, no, I definitely hopped back in for a couple episodes right after we recorded, and then kind of kept on going from there. So, no, it was a great show. Like Chase was saying, they kept on doing their combining thing, and then right at the very end, the power scaling goes out of control, which I had a lot of fun watching. Just the final battle scene, but also everything leading up to it. A lot of struggles within the group that was so tight knit before, and then kind of the years kind of came between them.
Yeah. So Gurran Lagann, it's definitely like I think kind of the issue Chase was having was it was not concerned with power scaling at all, where it just totally goes off the rails at some point, and they go for it. But Soul Eater is a little different, where I feel like they kind of keep it contained. We're going to get to Soul Eater,
Wait,
but
before we go on to Soul Eater, we do need to do a shout out to alt name 4742, who said that he became a follower after watching our Gurran Laggan episode on YouTube.
Yeah, because another man or woman or they of power and culture decided this is a great show, and we're happy to have them. You could learn a thing or two from them, Chase.
I don't think that you have good taste in shows. I think that we will find something better for you, but if that's
Well,
what
I mean,
if
maybe.
you liked Gurren Lagann, you're probably gonna love some of these other shows that we have because that
Monster
doesn't.
Part 2.
Yeah, yeah. Wait till
The
you watch
Great Plains.
Monster season 5 and 6.
If I have to
Plains.
watch him to leave one more time, oh god.
Not to date this episode or anything, but at currently right now for the anime reviews, we've done Monster, The Big O,
God, the big
Cowboy
fucking
Bebop, and Gurren Lagann. And currently in first, tied for first, is Gurren Lagann and The Big O with 45 views each.
Ooh.
45.
Yeah, we are totally killing it. Yeah, we are totally killing it. Alex,
Oh,
by the
fuck.
way, I see you got the new mic there. Congratulations. What do you think? It's pretty beefy. That's a phallic looking
It
piece of
is
equipment to
big,
have.
it is black, and it's all up in my face. I thank you for the gift. I don't know. It'll be interesting to when I review, like when I watch the episode when it comes out, to see how different I sound.
Yeah.
Because so far I've recorded, I think, just off my phone, then just off my laptop, then with headphones, and now with a mic.
Yep. Every episode we're slowly inching the bar up more and more.
Yeah.
That is appropriate power scaling.
Yep. And
Taking steps.
it's totally appropriate you just mentioned power scaling because we have Garrett broadcasting from the surface of the sun. How are you doing, Garrett?
I'm doing pretty good. It's still a shame that I'm on the surface of the sun and still can't get a tan. It kind of feels like this might be out to get me.
Yeah, it is a beautiful place to record. I don't know where else you would like to record an episode from.
Where else can you be on the brightest setting on the planet but still get a shadow chin? So I don't know.
It's almost too bad it's not a green wall because then we could just totally rotoscope you into whatever fantasy
You
island.
would have
every
way
episode.
too much fun with that. You just crop me in with the Yoko thing again, just staring headlong at her chest.
we totally have the technology. The technology exists.
You could still technically do it because it's a solid color. So I think the only issue is that his shirt might also just get color coded with that.
I got this.
Close enough.
I got this.
So he'll be just a floating head.
There you go. That's more contrasty. That's beautiful.
My Shaw. Can I say?
We're gonna put a picture of Blackstar right behind you.
Oh God, fuck that dude.
So, all right, before we get into the anime discussion here, let's kick it off with a rating of the anime. So, who wants to kick it off? Who wants to rate this thing first?
Wait, is it like a 1 to 10 or doing like a 1 to 5 souls? How are we doing this?
We are doing a 1 to 3 star rating. So a 1 would be like awful, 2 is like average, 3 is great. Suppose you could give it 0 stars if you truly hated it and there were no redeeming qualities. I'm going to start it off. I've seen this before. I'm going to give it 3 stars. I love this anime.
A bit generous with those stars, man. You're just throwing them out. There are hungry kids in Africa that could use those stars.
And I should also mention for the viewers, we only watched episodes 1 through 26, so we have not finished it yet. I've seen the whole thing before, but from what I've seen, I love it. Great, 3 stars. Alex, go ahead.
I will give it 2 out of 3 black stars. I like it. I've also seen this anime before. I watched it. I think I watched it when it came out. But it's not my favorite, but I enjoy watching it, and I'd watch it again. So,
what would you want to see from this anime to make it 3 stars? What's missing?
I don't think to change it to make it my liking would just completely make it a different show, kind of thing, you know. So it's not
Okay.
like that. It's a bad show. It's just I've grown out of that genre kind of thing where it's just like I don't know, maybe a little less fan service.
Okay.
For
You don't
me.
like Blair?
Blair is very nice.
You
She's
like
a
Blair?
nice kitty.
Or
Just
Patty
literally
and
just a sex
Patty and
symbol.
Liz, or
Yeah.
The best
what's
part is the
Blackstar's
fact that those
assistant,
Tsubaki.
Tsubaki. Why does she get naked every time she becomes a weapon, but Soul keeps his clothes on?
Interesting note so far. We need to see Soul naked to get 3 stars. That's fair. Chase, what do you think? What do you think of Souleater? What would you rate it so far?
Well, I'll go retroactively. Gurran Laggan gets 0 stars for me. It was not good.
It's a good
wow.
thing that your opinion doesn't count, so it's
Eater.
okay. We can keep going.
Souleater gets 2 stars for me, so I actually enjoyed it. I was like, if this is an anime, I was like, I'll actually watch this. You know, this is pretty good. Like I liked the plot. I liked the it seemed very good. I do think it's weird that they're in like high school and they're all living together in the same house. Like I was like, it's kind of weird, you know, just the
It's kind of like a
weapon.
boarding school, you
You
know?
should watch Food Wars.
Yep.
Oh God, don't even bring that shit up. He takes one bite of the steak and all of a sudden their clothes explode off their body.
Oh!
That's like the first fucking episode.
What else do you think they could do to make this show better in your eyes?
Well, I don't really like anime, so I have no idea. But I thought it was.
And
a
you
2.
like this one?
Yeah, I thought it was a 2.
Oh.
I didn't love.
I mean,
haven't
a
loved an
2 is
anime
better
yet.
than a 0. So
Yeah, which Gurren Lagann is securely a 0. That's a dumpster
that's okay.
fire
Like we said, your
anime.
opinion didn't count. It
Yeah.
wasn't on the video. No one heard it. So whatever.
Yep. You missed the episode, so your vote is not registered in our video average. We've stricken it from the records. But yeah, and you totally missed the fact that Garrett has a core drill.
Oh, I
He
have
actually
several
has them.
actually.
So
Because I like to combine
he
with
did
stuff,
yeah, he did a whole combining thing.
Yeah.
You missed it. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. Garrett, you want to go
It's
next?
very
What do you
sexually
think?
charged, though. It's kind of odd. I have to say, are we allowed to do like 1 point?
Sure. Yeah.
So like, as of right now, I'm gonna give it like a 1.8. I liked it okay enough. It definitely has a lot of like the old tropes, like all the crap I hated from early Naruto, and you could see all that. I thought the pacing was kind of annoying, but for the most part, I have a feeling that what it's gonna turn into is probably gonna be great. And like I know there a lot of people really liked it when I was growing up. I never actually watched it, so this is kind of my first time going through it. But I know most of what happens in it because I've just seen a lot of like the manga artists, and I've seen in high school I dated a girl who that show was like 80% of her personality. So like I have a pretty good idea of what's gonna happen. But it's if I didn't have to watch it, I don't think I would.
Really?
Is basically
Wow.
what it boils down to. Like I don't think it. I mean, maybe back then it probably was, really cool and revolutionary, but like I don't really care for it. I can't stand Blackstar. He annoys the shit out of me. All the characters I think are kind of annoying and like it's just really weird. I don't really care for fan service all the time. I mean, if you're gonna do it, I think it should go both ways because that'd be fucking hilarious. But there's a lot of open-ended questions I have for it right now that I feel like I need to finish it before I can give it a full assessment. Which now,
Garrett,
of course, I have to do.
I'm not surprised about your rating. I'm more surprised the fact that you didn't watch it. You haven't
I've
seen it already.
seen
I was
like
blown
pieces
away,
of
too.
it, and I knew like most of what happened, dude. But like, I'm telling you, when you date someone, then that's like 80% of the personality. Like you pretty much get the picture, and it's like I never went back to it, never thought about it. My sister loves it, and she is like a huge fan of it. So while I was watching it, she was with me, and she was rewatching it with me and kind of telling me stuff. So I have like a really in-depth view of it. But I gotta say, this is definitely not one of my favorites.
Wow. Okay.
I wouldn't even put it on the top 10.
I thought you were gonna go like maybe 1.5 or 0.5 increments.
No,
You're
because
going for the 0.8, so that's good.
I
Thank you
didn't
for
I
the
didn't hate it, but it's not something that I would actively seek out to watch. Like if you didn't tell me to watch this as homework, I don't think I'd do it, Professor. But like
okay.
when it gets down to it, I didn't really vibe with it. It bored the shit out of me, to be honest. The first half of it, I realized I wasn't paying attention, and I was like, I gotta go back and watch this crap again. So at first, I was like working while it was going on, and then I was like, oh wait, I probably should understand what the hell they're talking about. The heck is a Kishin? And I had to go back and figure it out again.
Yeah, when they release him and you're like, what's the importance of this again?
Can we explain why this guy was banned in his own skin? He's a giant testicle, and then he just found his way back to normal. Like once it got to that part, I was like, well, at least there are cool villains. But then I pegged it immediately that like they can't have Death fight him. So I just kind of hated that they have this omnipotent character that can't really do much because he's trapped where he is.
Yeah.
I guess that's my biggest bitch about Boruto too.
Well, Garrett, he's trapped where he is to keep the Kishin there.
Well, it doesn't fucking work.
Oh yeah, because he got put into a dimensional cube.
You got put into it. Well, and then like at the area end where it's like I thought you had an hour, and the guy made the joke about how men like to exaggerate. Like he clearly just busted out of that shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he clearly was like boop, and just showed up next to him.
What do you think, Josh? What are your thoughts on Soul Eater? What would you rate it on the patented scale of Grouchy Anime Club?
Yeah,
stars?
I think I'd give it a 2.5. I don't know.
Okay.
I always like to leave some headroom in my reviews. But no, I watched this show when it came out. It was a big hit with me and my brother and sister growing up, so we had a good time watching it. But yeah, I think one of the big things for me, I think pacing wise, like I like the first season just fine, but it is definitely like a kind of coming of age, learning to be a demon hunter kind of situation, more than it has a lot of action or anything like that. I think I would appreciate getting a little bit more of why the world is the way it is, leading into the show versus discovering it more in the second season and parts that come later. But yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a fun show.
So this is the thing that makes this show so interesting to me now, because I did not realize kind of what they were doing here. So like you, I was very interested in the world and everything that was going on with this. And before we get into the anime even further, I know we're about 20 minutes in now, but we're going to get there. Trust me, we're going to get there. But so they did this whole prequel series, Fire Force, and Garrett had mentioned this to me a while ago. That's a whole prequel to Soul Eater, and it's a totally unrelated, weird, wonky. They're firefighters fighting people that catch on fire, and somehow that turns into this.
Yeah, basically the spontaneous human combustion. And go ahead and take it away. I kind of cut you off.
Oh I was going to say, just to say the same thing. So in the world of Fire Force, the Earth is basically covered in fire, and you have 3 generations of firefighters. Gen 1 is able to control fire that already exists in the world. So if there's a flame there, they have power to like shape it or give themselves like enhance their own abilities and stuff like that. Gen 2 is able to produce their own fire. So their powers are like, I can create flames, like shoot flames out or something, or I can create heat within my body that increases my speed. And then Gen 3 is people who can create and control fire outside, like that's already existing. And like, so in this world of Fire Force, everywhere but like Tokyo is engulfed in flames, and like the world's like basically it's like apocalypse, but Tokyo itself is still like a modern city and stuff. So they use this, and whatever destroyed the world is also affecting people within Tokyo. I can't remember exactly how they saved the city, but like something like they're able to harness the power or something to protect themselves. So it's a great show. Fire Force is awesome.
It was Godzilla.
Honestly, might as well. But yeah, and then you follow around a character named Shinra Kusakabe, who is a third generation who can control fires through his feet. And he wants to join the Fire Force, which is like, think of, rather than being firefighters, they legitimately just fight people who just had the sudden human combustion. So their job is to find them and put them out of their misery. So, and like they have a priest on every team, so it's supposed to be like very peaceful. Like they're putting them to rest. It's not like they're going to hunt them down. They're going out there. They're finding the affected individual, because it is. They even make this like evident in like the second episode or something, where the captain tells Shinra, he's like, "This is someone's family. Like we're here to put them out of their misery and show them home and like let them get some dignity." So it's like, and then like they have a priest with them that gives a. They do like this atom or whatever prayer that they go through before they end up destroying him.
And like the spontaneous human combustion, like when a person like becomes on fire, they basically become like this like flaming zombie.
Pretty much, yeah. And they ignite everything that they touch and come in contact with. I think of like a flaming thrall from like Fallout type deal. Like it's like a glowing one just on fire.
Yeah.
That type deal. They try to kill everything that they find, and they're typically, when you find them, they're living out activities that they were doing in their past life. So like the first one you find, he's just sitting in his chair looking at a picture of his family. But he's like on fire.
I'm totally in. I'm totally in.
It's a cool show.
The more I hear about it, I'm interested. So this is perfect that we're going from Soul Eater now. We're going to finish Soul Eater and then maybe move into Fire Force. Josh, if you want to spin off on something else, go ahead. I think I'll continue this, but yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested. So my homework to everyone else is, as we're watching Soul Eater, pay attention to what Death is saying about his past and listen to every time he mentions Shinra, because that's all related to Fire Force. So, and apparently the manga and anime diverge at some point. So the next time we talk about Soul Eater, I will read the manga just to kind of pepper that in there for us. But yeah, Josh, you mentioned season 1. So season 1, kind of like episodes 1 through 13, every episode was kind of split up into different character arcs where they introduced you, like, this is this team, this is this team, this is this team. What did you guys think of that? Who were your favorite teams? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I'll go. Maka and Soul, obviously. They're the main characters. Everyone else sucks.
That
I'll say I definitely like Maka and Soul as well. But amendment to what Alex said is why I like them is the dynamic with the father, because like the father is like just a screw up in some ways. But my favorite part, this is getting in, I don't know if we're gonna get to this later in the episode, but the father, he's like, he was just like basically like giving energies like maka 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 and doing that for a whole episode. And I'm like, this guy's such an idiot. and then he's hanging out. She gets the top of her class, like, and so it's great. It's gonna mean good things for her. And he's having a drink with Blair, and he's like, I just want to know, I appreciate her. He's like, hey, can you go find out what her favorite book is? Here's some money. And he's like, why don't you get it? He's like, no, she won't like it if I get it for her. So, okay, here's some money. Find out what book she wants, get it, and then put this note in the gift. And she's like, oh, sure. 2 seconds later, cuts to her outside of the door. He's like, and she's got a bag. She's like, oh, why do I do this? I spent all the money. She's like, wait, I'll just shrink it. So she shrinks the gift. You don't know what it is yet. And she puts the gift in. And you're like, oh, let's see what happens. And so she's like, oh, my dad gave me something after Blair handed it to her. And she pulls out these tiny like lingerie panties, and she's like, why would my dad give these to me? That sick bastard. Like, what is this? And she reads the letter, and he's like, I thought you needed to enjoy yourself. Like, you did such a good job. You're my little I was dying so much from watching that. Like that, I love it, because I was like, the dad is making an effort, but Blair just fucked him over. And it's so funny.
But he's also like a awful dad, because like, go buy your own daughter a gift. Like, why are you delegating this to some cat that you just met with magical powers?
I mean, I get it. Like he's not on good terms with his daughter, so he's like, you know what? Just just trust it. And it cuts to him.
Yeah,
Be
he
like,
says like right before it, he literally
Yeah,
goes and
yeah.
states that he's like Mako would never take a gift from me if I gave it to her.
Yeah, and then it cuts to after she's so disgusted about this gift. He's like, "Man, I bet Maka's really enjoying that gift right now."
Yeah.
He's like looking over the city and like the knights are behind him. He's like, I bet Maka's loving this gift right now.
I love that episode. That was one of my like I thoroughly enjoyed it. That's why I enjoy this anime partially. I think because of stuff like that. That was great. I was like, I love this dynamic.
I was gonna say I did like the fact that they added in those overt character flaws. It's something that you don't see very often, but I will let Josh continue his point.
So I have something to admit. I kind of like Blackstar and Tsubaki.
Really?
Not so. I don't really like Blackstar's antics, but Tsubaki does a good job keeping him reined in when when she needs to. No, otherwise I do like Maka and Soul. I think that Tsubaki and Blackstar have some of the more odd missions, odd adventures in the like first season of the show, where they're not as straightforward missions or something goes wrong, and then they have to kind of regroup and overcome. But yeah, no, I think Blackstar. I don't know how to feel about Blackstar. I do find him annoying as well. And half the show, I'm just waiting for him to shout "Believe it" at some point. Really, is what it comes down to. The assassin that can't shut up.
I do like how when he turns it on, like he has that badass energy underneath it all, and I think towards the end of the show, he does get a little bit more badass. But
like
he does kind of mature over the show.
Early in the show, though, he's super mature. When they're in that village and they have to tame that cursed sword, and he's just sitting there like getting the shit beat out of him, so that the Tsubaki, right? I have terrible names. Was like so she could do her battle, and he stood there and let her do her thing, even though the villagers were hitting him. That was like a cool stoic moment. That was awesome. And I really like that. And like someone like tried to poke the sword with or like it was gonna hit her, and he's like, "Don't you dare do that! Hit me all you want, but don't you dare touch her. She's on her stage or whatever." I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was a neat episode. I really liked it where she's going up.
Yeah, but like one cool part does not make it any better to have like 20 episodes of him be like, "I'm the best star. This is my stage.
100%.
I'm gonna fuck everything up." Like 9 times, like early Naruto.
When Soul is trying to get answers, and so Blackstar, he's like, "Look at this," and literally just signs his name. Yeah. I thought that was great too.
Yeah. I love the interactions between Blackstar and Soul too. Like they're good buddies, but definitely two sides of the same coin. Just like one of them is way over the top, and the other one's just very chill.
I actually really like that whole episode where they're fighting Death the Kid, and he's trying to use Soul, and he just cannot do it. It's like way too heavy. They end up hurting each other. They're like, fine, we're done.
Yeah, because their wavelengths don't match up, so he can't lift it. And then Soul tries to force it, and then he's like, "Ow, what the hell? That hurt!" And he's like, "You're hurting me." And then I think Soul passes out like after he spits up blood or something.
He ends up dropping the scythe that chops him right down the center of the head. It's great. So what do you think, Garrett? Who is your favorite team in Soul Eater so far?
Is he laughing? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, because it's like, it's absolutely hilarious to me because I do all the crap to get this thing to work, and then immediately we're finally talking, and then it's like, Blackstar, believe it. It's just like cutting in at the weirdest parts. I think you asked me who my favorite character was?
Yes. Who is your favorite character?
Honestly, I kind of like Kid. I like his overt OCD issue. I think it's a fun thing to put in there. I think it adds a lot of intrigue to his character, especially with his like fascination with maintaining all that symmetry. Especially with how Liz and Patty are able to kind of like kick him into battle. Especially when she's like, "Did you notice that he's got a chain and a ball on his right foot, but not his left?" He's like, "You son of a bitch!" And then he starts immediately trying to kill him. Like that's great. Like I absolutely love that. Or when he was like, if you're gonna make me a number, at least make me number 8. It's perfect no matter how you cut it. And like it's just seeing that they added this character in with like this overt character flaw, but he is like awesome. It's kind of fun because like you see that with like things like Naruto with Kakashi and his he's a pervert, but like literally that only comes out occasionally. But you have his OCD, which is literally a constant problem that he's fighting with. Like there's a one mission he leaves to go back to his house to double check if his frame is straight because he couldn't focus on it no matter what he was doing because his frame might have been crooked.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I do like how they have him and they have his 2 weapons, and they're able to kind of work together to get through his problems. Like you get the feeling they've been at this for some time, where it's like, oh God, here he goes. He's gonna have a meltdown now. But yeah, I like how they work together. I will say I'm a little disappointed. Nobody mentioned Corona, so I'm going to give a shout out for Katie, a nurse we used to work with. She loved Corona. I love Corona. I just don't know how to handle it. I don't.
Corona is Ragnarok.
Right, yeah.
The joke is that he's. Is it all right?
I don't know how to deal with it.
That's the joke. They never really say.
Yeah, so it's just Corona just getting the shit rocked by Ragnarok. Just boss him around. He's just a crybaby. I don't like that.
I just like how every episode she's like, oh, I can't deal with this right now. It's like always some stupid thing. She's like, I can't deal with it. I can't go to school right now. I can't deal with this. And then meanwhile, he's over there like
Sid. He's like, I don't know how to deal with the zombie, and he's like, okay.
I have to say,
I don't know. That guy pissed me off though.
So one of the best things about Soul Eater is their commitments to a bit. Like if there's a bit, they're gonna play it. So one of my favorite bits in it is Excalibur.
That's my pick. That's my favorite team out of this whole thing. Excalibur. It's my favorite character out of any anime.
I start every morning with a cup of coffee. Fool! But you just said tea is the best. Fool! I start every morning with a cup of coffee. That's rule number 2.
I have agreed to be your partner. Shink, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm good, man.
There are 1,000 prerequisites that you must meet. Now we're good. All right, I'll cut it down to 750.
The
but
part
you
of that
still have
episode,
to listen to the 5-hour story.
I know who is the murderer. Past the guy that's about to take out a sword. Him.
He's like, what? He's like, are you sure? It seemed like the butler was pretty guilty. He's like, fool! I start every morning with a cup of coffee.
But what?
Like he's working with Sherlock Holmes. Like that cracks me up. And he's got like the full beard up the entire length of his face.
So we do have kind of like a mixed rating here. For this anime, what Garrett and Alex are kind of more on the lower side. Josh and Chase are kind of with me more on the higher side of this. What do you guys think? What are the best qualities of this anime? My thought was what makes it so great, but what are the best things besides just the teams and the built-in character flaws?
For me, the 2 things that I really like about it is, like I said earlier, the commitment to a bit. Because Soul Eater has like some fun. Some bits aren't great, whatever, but like they just commit to it. And then also, out of all the anime that we reviewed so far, this has some of the best fight choreography, I think, where you can actually see like proper like movement, or not proper, but like actual cool movements and stuff, and like swinging these awesome weapons around. So I really enjoy the fight scenes when they do happen. I feel like they're a little too infrequent, but so I like that. It's funny and the action's pretty good.
Okay. What do you think, Josh?
I agree with you on the fight choreography. I think especially with the
Oh, I'm back.
I think
came back.
I think for me, like you were saying, they really commit to a bit, and they do that individually with all the characters too. That some of the characters can feel like they're very much in a certain box or a trope category. But I think what the show does really well is character interaction. All that, like, when they're at the school together, it feels like they did just get out of class and they are hanging out, or like that they know each other outside of the missions that they're doing. That the character interactions actually feel pretty tangible.
Yeah.
I do
It
really
feels like a
enjoy
real
that.
world too.
Yeah. If I had to pick one, I think that would be one of my bigger ones in this show.
Okay. Now, Chase, I'm going to pose it a little bit differently to you. What made this anime better than the other animes that we've seen? What made you enjoy this more?
I don't really know. I think maybe the power scaling is something that I'm not a big fan of when it gets out of control. And so it seemed like the story was good. I liked the jokes that they had. It just seemed like a better show than especially Gurran Laggan and some other stuff. Other shows that we watched.
She's just constantly taking shots at you, Garrett. Your baby is dying.
Oh, it's the worst.
I think we're losing Garrett again.
Yeah, he doesn't have any opinion. So, Alex, what were your thoughts?
I will break through this computer to fight you on Gurran Lagann.
I will. Well, Garrett, I will get my steps to him. Come up there. Combine as much as you want.
Hold on, come up here. Basically, all I was going to say was, as established by the long and arduous lore that is the Grouchy Anime Club, as we previously said, you have been invalidated, and anything you say will roll right off my back because Gurran Lagann is fantastic, and everybody loves it. That's all I gotta say. There's something wrong with you. You're the problem, not the show.
So, what do you think, Garrett? So, how could this have been? Why is this worse than previous anime that we've watched? Because you're probably coming in at the lowest with a 1.8. Am I right?
Yes, I believe I have rated it the lowest. I don't know. It's not. It's probably because it has most of the tropes that I hate in modern anime, and I think it's maybe because I have been exposed to so much of that. Like, it does feel very reminiscent of early Naruto in a lot of ways as well. Granted that I believe it did Naruto start after the port, but whatever. Like, the characters I thought were really great. I will admit I did catch a lot of what Josh said about how he liked the character dynamics, and I will admit that they did do a really good job of demonstrating their levels of like relationship and their emotion. Like, you can definitely tell like the struggling relationship between Maka and Soul the whole time. But I didn't like how it focused on different characters. It was kind of episodic, but they kind of relate to each other, and it feels like maybe I don't know the whole story because I'm looking forward to it. I have to say, like, most of my enjoyment comes from the fact that I really like Fire Force.
Okay, that's
and granted,
fine.
that has a lot of the same tropes in it too. Like, there is the character that constantly gets naked. It's literally one of those things where like the main character walks into the room and her clothes fall off, or like she ends up putting her bare body up against him. Like, it's ridiculous. She walks in the room and like it's like something rips her shirt off, and then he's just right there, and he gets a face full of boob, and like that happens a lot. Can't stand it, but like I just like that show. I think the pacing's a lot of fun. It's just this one. I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's PTSD from like high school or whatnot, but it's never really been my area of interest.
So, for the guys that have seen a lot more anime, is this a common thing early on in the shows? Because it seems like as shows go on, they have less and less fan service. Like, is that just a tool to grab people early on, or?
Well, I have to admit, I think the was it etchy or whatever the type of anime. Yeah, it was like the type of anime. The genre was super popular in the early 2000s. Like I feel like that's when I was running like that's what I think I ran into like high school DxD or whatever, and then like all the other ones and things like Naruto had the sexy jutsu, so that's not even away from all that either.
Because I feel like even with Gurran Laggan, they had some fan service, but it was mostly towards the beginning. And like that guy said in our comments, I forgot his name. What, Alex? What's the name here?
Alt name 40.
I am alt name 4742. Like he said, most of it was at the beginning because he was a younger guy. So to him, like a woman is like, oh my gosh, totally beautiful. And then as the show goes on, it's less and less. So we'll see with Soul Eater as it goes on. I remember really liking the end. So we'll see what happens as we continue. But moving on into season 2.
For each anime though, it's gonna be different. Like they're gonna use fan service for different reasons. Like sometimes it's part of storytelling. Sometimes it's just like, hey, I know you guys like this, so we're gonna sprinkle a little bit in there. And like so sometimes you can read into it, but not always. It's just
I suppose it does depend. Like if the whole show is built around that, they can't really move away from it. But with Soul Eater, I guess you have Blair through most of the show, but I don't remember her having that many sexy scenes throughout the whole show. Like I feel like we hit a lot of them early on where she's in the bathtub, she's fighting the other witch in the street, and all the other guys are sitting there watching them.
That was towards the end.
At the end of season 2.
Yeah. I think what happens for a lot of shows is like they put a lot of stuff in the beginning. Whatever works, they keep. Whatever doesn't work, they slowly filter out.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say real quick, when I suggested this anime, I did not remember how much fan service is in the first 2 seasons. I distinctly remember it gets a little more serious later on in the show, but there's a lot more than I remember.
The second show that you recommend, we'll see if there's a pattern.
Yeah, we have our eyes on you now.
Josh is gonna suggest Casting Couch for like the next one.
Oh god,
no, it's a great anime. It's so good.
You know, the name already came up. I was thinking like High School DxD. You know.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. I'm all on board.
Anyway.
Or what about? Isn't there one where it's like there's an anime where if a guy sees panties and gets a nosebleed, the world ends, or something like that? Like I swear, there's something out there. I think I can find this.
I'm pretty sure there is.
Was it Space Dandy, where a huge part of the show is him doing missions just so he can go to Space Hooters?
I never saw that show, but I did want to check it out when it was on Toonami.
It is pretty funny. The art's pretty quality. But anyway.
So I guess now moving into the second half of the episode here, we had episodes 14 through 26. That's when we started getting some conflict. What do you think about the initial progression here? We had the witch, what was her name? Medusa, or was that her name? Medusa? Yeah. Yep. She was breaking into the school. Stein was onto her case. They end up catching her. Then they have that whole fight. She has the other witches with her, the werewolf with her. What do you think of the whole buildup, Chase?
I thought it was a good buildup. She like infiltrated in, so she was like a constant with like the black blood, and I thought it was very good. I thought there was a good buildup with episodic issues as you go through. So,
Alex, what about you? What do you think about all of the conflict?
It was fine. I like Medusa as a villain. I thought when the frog and mouse witch tried to like trap her, they're like, "Oh, either you have to use your witch powers and you'll blow your cover and we win, or you don't use your witch powers and we overpower you and we still win." And then she's like, "Okay," and then she like snaps her fingers and basically just destroys them both. I thought that was pretty cool, showing her power and control and stuff. And like, I don't know.
I forgot the part where she like sticks her hands down their mouth.
Yeah.
She's like caressing their tongue. She's like, and then she pulls it out, and I'm like, ah, God, why? No gloves, no nothing. You just bare mitt that thing.
That was a cool power play, but I don't really like when they just do things like that where it's like, oh, we didn't see her put snakes inside the frog lady. You know, she's just like, oh yeah, I implanted all these snakes in you. You're screwed now. You better listen to whatever I say or I'll blow you up.
Well, I mean, she made a good point by, splitting the mouse chick in half.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
what about you, Garrett?
Oh.
Yeah, it's my turn, man. Because I definitely don't talk over everybody. I mean, I liked it.
I really liked. Just kidding.
If you bring up Gurran, we're gonna have beef. No, I like how they did it. I do think like it was a little shoehorned towards the end. I kind of wish they could have talked a little bit more with Medusa about how her plan was gonna unveil, or like we could have seen more of it than like the little tidbits of it. Otherwise, I do think it was pretty neat with like the werewolf guy. He was pretty neat. I kind of would have loved to know more about his power or why he just doesn't give a shit. Because you'd think since he ripped the witch's eye out, he would be a little bit more interested in being away from them.
Yeah, instead of
But
teaming up with
otherwise,
them.
yeah, he just works with them, no worries, has no problem beating the living piss out of children. Like they're just attending extra classes for whatever reason. I also thought it was kind of odd that they have like this 6 death sites that are awesome, but they send kids out to these crazy missions. Granted, it was always my complaint with Naruto, but at least they're ninjas. They have a license. It's different.
Yeah.
They got the headband. But these kids are like, I don't know, you're in trouble. You didn't go to class. Go fight like that group of zombies or some shit. I don't know. That sounds like that'll work out. And then 50 zombies, 50 points. I don't know. 50 to Dumbledore. I got it. But otherwise, like I thought the fight scene was cool. I liked how they played off it. They did a really good job with Kid, especially when he's trying to catch up with the tadpole, and like they just leave all the balls around. He's like, "There's no order to this." He stops, and then Blackstar's catching up to him. So I thought they did a good job with that. But I just kind of wished there was a little bit more build up to it on its own.
Yeah.
Granted, I know it was like the plan kind of fell through and they managed to pull through it, but it's like they even kind of knew about it in a part, but nobody did anything. Like even Sid shows up, he figures it out. No one stops anything. Stein is like the smartest guy ever. He clearly has an idea about it, but he just like, I guess it's like also kind of factoring that he has that madness in him too that I might not have enough information about to go through. But it's like he knew about it. He clearly cares about these kids. He won't leave them the hell alone, but you just kind of let it happen anyways.
Yeah.
Because it was fun to be him, like when he was like or when he was talking to Medusa and he kind of corners her. And then you see him like kind of backpedal and like hit himself with the stool at the end of it, when he's like, or are you a witch? And then you see him do like that silly thing where the stool flies up and like crashes down on his face.
Yeah, it was. I do like how they had that kind of back and forth chess where they're like, "Do you know that I'm a witch? Do you not know that I'm a witch?"
Yeah, like if they could have had more
bit.
of that a little bit longer. Like if they could have had that longer than just like that section where it feels like he kind of just pins up on it right before he kind of like he starts to get her. It would have been cool to have him like finding clues or having, seeing Sid do some background research and stuff like that. Just watching me see Stein's intellect rather than him just being like, I don't know, it's probably B, and then it's just probably B.
Yeah. So right now we're about halfway through the anime. So in a way, I feel like this was rushed. Like, we're already at the end of episode 24. The Kishin has been released and he's out. They fought him, whatever. It seems like that's a lot that they just really kind of stuffed in there. Like they were taking their time with the first 13 episodes and then that came through with the second 13. They're like, all right, all this is going to happen. Now that everything is going to explode. What did you think, Josh? What are your thoughts on the second set of episodes?
Yeah, no, I think I mean I think you got it exactly right there where it does it you have that kind of prologue where it's they're going through school, you get to meet all the teams, all that stuff. They do a couple missions. All the while this is kind of brewing in the background, and then things just hit the fan in the second season. I think that's kind of how they pace the show out, if I'm remembering like later seasons. But I do think that early encounter with Medusa really set up the second season to go off the rails so quickly, because I mean, as we saw, she implanted herself in the school, and This is my little theory, but I think Stein got a real good look at her the first time they met, and he had just was watching her the whole time and just let her do her thing.
I totally like how they envisioned Frankenstein in this universe, where he's got like the screw and he's kind of mad and
just clicking it until he feels right. Yeah, he's got his fidget toy in his head.
Yeah,
I wish they would have just called him Frank.
I mean, his first name is Franken. His last name's Stein.
I know, like Frankenstein. I wish they wouldn't have done that. I wish it would have been just Frank Stein, like Frank Stein.
Okay.
Like, I get the joke; it's Frankenstein, but just like pretend that you're not going for that. It's like, wait, his name is Frank, last name Stein, like Frankenstein. Yeah. No, never heard of him.
But
I don't know.
I do love Stein though. I think he's probably one of my favorites. But yeah, I think it sets itself up well to accelerate as quickly as it does, but it does move very quickly in that second season, right up until the Kishin gets released. There's a quick combat, and then just poof into nothing, and then you have to deal with that whole situation.
Yeah. So everybody here has a little bit of experience with Soul Eater. Alex has seen it. I've seen it. Josh has seen it, even though I may not remember exactly how it ends. Garrett, I'm going to throw it to Chase here. Chase, where do you think the show is going to go from this moment on?
Well, I think Stein is going to be going to go mad and is going to cause a lot of issues. The Medusa snake at the end, that was kind of interesting. So I think that's going to come back to bite. But I think they're going to work towards getting Soul become a death scythe, because they were there at the first episode and then Blair fucked them over, and then they haven't really gotten very far since then. But I definitely think it's going to be Stein is like second fiddle to the Kishin, and then cause a lot of issues, what I'm guessing.
Okay. Garrett, do you have any guesses on where the show's going to go?
Well, I know they're going to have to deal with the Kishin, so I have a feeling that if it was going to follow the way through, I'm sure Medusa ain't dead, even though they did like a 19-minute blood rain bullshit, but they were clearly the arrows, so I'm sure it had something to do with her snake vector power or some crap. Or she probably literally physically left the snake. I think, you see the snake come out of the city like a turd at the end or something. It's ploops into the water. So I'm sure she's still alive and she's still going to fuck around. Clearly the evil Kishin's going to do something. I kind of had a feeling that they're either going to seal or kill off Death if they could ever get to it, because that seems to be the whole point. But I do feel like Stein's madness is going to kick in. They're clearly going to have to either subjugate him or they're going to have to take him out.
So you think Death is going to die or get sealed away?
Something along those lines, because again, they have this omnipotent character that can't leave, and literally the whole show's well, why didn't he just go do it? Well, he's keeping the Kishin locked. Well, the Kishin's gone, so what does it matter? Okay. But his power is still tied to this area, and you can clearly see he cares for it. So part of me thinks that they're going to have to do something with him. Otherwise, what's really the stakes of the show? Maka gets killed, whatever, but then we just have Death come over and karate chop the guy to death
with his Reaper chop.
Yeah. So I see that, or you also, because I'm also factoring that kid needs to become a thing. He can't really come out of his dad's shadow if the dad's still there. So I don't really know if how that's going to play into effect. But it also feels like that the characters will grow together. There'll probably be more with the madness related to Maka and Soul, because they never really told you that. And the little demon turd was at the very end of his statement, he's was it madness, or did she really made that comment where it made you think, was she really out of the madness or was she still in it? So I feel like that's going to come back into it and maybe cause a rift between the characters or something, and Soul and Maka are going to have to regrow together or whatnot, because you even see the part where he burns her hands and she gets over it, so there's probably going to be the tumultuous issue there. Blackstar might finally not be a useless turd. That would be fantastic. I would love for them to explain what the hell's going on with Tsubaki and the fact that she can turn into a bunch of weapons. I think it's just some bloodline bullshit, which is probably what it is. But
they already explained it. It's a bloodline thing.
It's bloodline bullshit.
The only family.
Yeah, it's bloodline bullshit. Okay, that's what
when
I thought.
When she got that final or that next sword thing, she killed her brother and got access to. So her brother was supposed to inherit it, but she got it, and so it's like their bloodline.
So she just has a Sharingan. I got it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, some people just don't pay attention to the animes as they're watching them, and you know it shows. If you would have maybe paid more
it's not
attention
my fault
to,
that it was boring as shit. She was just like, she fights her
Wow.
brother for like 9 minutes and gets her ass slapped, and then eventually she's like, I win because I was always better. Is basically what it turned out to be. It was like she was always the better one. The brother was kind of weak. So it's just
better
like
than oh no, combine and do it again and again.
I'm sorry.
The anti,
All of my
the
favorite things in the world come from combining cars.
Spiral power. Yeah, what's the negative?
Chase,
Anti-spirals.
You forgot about that whole scene where the drill comes in and kind of has to shift his head over every time.
You forgot that it's all
that's
sentient beings, and there's technically 2 different endings in Gurran Laggan. Thank you very much.
And you forgot about the part, Chase, where the gerbil turns into a human. That's pretty cool.
And the part where they see Yoko's boobies and it powers the mech. So like, I don't know what else you can need. Got fighting, spirit power, combining stuff. My favorite things are combined. Vanilla and chocolate ice cream is the best ice cream.
One more thing I want to point in is the fact that at the beginning, the very first episode, is Soul had 99 souls, and then he just needed the one witch soul that Blair ruined. And then they dropped that concept completely. Like, I know that they're still going to school to become, like, because after you eat the 100 soul, like the 99 souls and the witch soul, then he becomes Death's weapon.
Right, a death scythe.
Yeah, and they just dropped that so fast and hard. And like,
I feel they still talked about it later in the episodes. Like they be like, oh, we need to be like, oh, how does the souls taste? Oh, they taste really good. And then
give me a counter or something. Then do a bit where every time he eats a soul, like somewhere on the screen, like, oh, that's number 85 or something.
Yeah,
because they beat so many enemies. I feel like they should have hit 99 really fast.
This is one of the areas that, from what I understand, this is where the manga and anime start to differ. They kind of just abandon that as the show goes on. So I'll have more on that next time. I will read through everything we've watched, and I'll read whatever we watch for Soul Eater, and I'll kind of bring that up as we go along. But continuing our final thoughts here, let's go around the horn and just finish everybody out here. Chase, do you have any final thoughts on Soul Eater?
No, I thought it was actually a decent show.
Okay.
Hopefully we find more shows like this and not like Gurran Laggan.
Okay.
Okay, we can all be wrong.
Garrett, do you have any final thoughts?
I'm gonna probably read it as well, only because I can do that significantly faster than I can watch it. Okay. And I don't have to hear Blackstar's stupid ass talk, but I'm still gonna put through it because I have to. I'm a vital member of this wonderful group, and I'm very interested to see where it goes, and I can't wait to prove Chase wrong.
Now, Garrett, since you were actually on the Gurran Laggan episode, and that was the anime that you picked, I think that does give you the power to retroactively go and change the scores of people who are not on the episode. Would you like to modify any scores of people who are not on the episode for Gurran Laggan?
Well, I know Chase is being facetious, so he really gave it a 7 out of 3.
Wait.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to mute him
I have
real
the
quick.
power of this next anime. I have the power of this next anime. I will pick the shittiest anime possible, and I will pick so we have to watch Blackstar
Didn't we
again.
already watch fucking Monster? Like, that was one of them already.
Yeah, we're gonna skip 2 seasons and watch 5
Monster,
and 6.
the second half, and I'm just gonna phone it in.
Yeah. So no, you cannot retroactive it. No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We did totally forget to have him locked in at the beginning of the episode. That was a total swing and a whiff.
Point be known.
So, Josh, what about you? Do you have any final thoughts on Soul Eater?
Yeah, I guess rewatching the show brought back a lot of memories for me. I didn't remember the show super clearly, apparently.
I'm right there with you.
But no, I think what we did watch really sets up the rest of the show. So I'm in my own time, I'm gonna have to keep watching.
Yeah.
But I would say that I said Stein is my favorite character. I stand by it. He only gets better as the show goes on.
Yeah. My one thought that I'll just leave you all with is I am very curious to see what happens after we finish Soul Eater and we start watching Fire Force. Because do we think the Kishin is the main villain from Fire Force? Is that what they did?
I'm not gonna
We'll
say.
find out. We'll find out. Until next time, that has been our episode of the Grouchy Anime Club.
Oh,
Stay
wait.
tuned. Yeah.
Are we
Thank
going
you.
to announce what the
Yes.
next month?
Yes, we need to do that. Chase, what are we watching?
Yep. So critically acclaimed, because that's the kind of things I throw out.
Jesus.
Is we're watching Berserk.
Yes.
So not the 2016 or 20 like the late. We're watching 27 years old Berserk, 1997.
All right. Now,
The
Chase.
year that I came into this world.
Now, Chase, I'm going to just tell you this. So I told you about Berserk. Berserk is what inspired Soul Eater and Bloodborne, and there's a lot of imagery stolen from that manga. So you have locked it in with Berserk. Now I can tell you that the anime is trash.
It's
supposed to be
absolute
really bad.
dog dick because I've
Oh.
seen it. So just so you know, like
it's
I've
great.
already watched it. You've already
It's
let me
great.
down just a smidgen. I would have rather done the 3D rendered one with its hilarious sound effects, but this one
I
was
did
good.
watch some of that one. That one was interesting.
Every time he'd swing his sword, it's like, oh
yeah.
just make that obnoxious noise.
Huge clanging sounds.
I have a sense of relief because I have tried to watch Berserk and I didn't, and I thought because like I heard the manga is amazing. I heard
the manga is fantastic.
But like I tried to watch the anime, and I was just like, I don't feel like watching this. I guess it's just something
the first
that
10
missed
minutes.
me.
The first 10 minutes were great. I was like, oh, I recognize that. I recognize that. I recognize that. So for me as a Souls player, like Dark Souls, Demon Souls was the first big video game that I played with co-op with Tyler. So like I was like, hey, I remember I see an Onion Knight right there. Like pretty quickly. I was like, the blacksmith. So there's a lot of things that I think I'll enjoy. I like the first 10 minutes. It's probably gonna fall off very quickly because that's how Gurran Laggan did. I was like, man, this is gonna be a great show. And I'm like, this shit sucks.
Chase is taking shots any chance he can.
Actually, that's a sign of someone who's wrong. I hate to break it to you. Over-aggression is usually a sign of victimized wrongness. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a safe place. Don't worry
Yep.
about it. We've all been wrong before.
At least I didn't paint
still
my
love
room
you.
that color.
I didn't either, but that's fine.
I didn't
if
know
you really
that
got to point at that, that's also a sign of insecurity. Is pointing at things I can't control.
Do you have urine yellow in the paint department? Oh yeah.
How do you think I painted it? I just I have a hearty, hefty stream, and it clearly worked out well. Look how even that is, though. You're gonna complain about that? It's even.
Yeah, it's very even.
Now with your splotchy blackness back there, you can't see anything except that weird potted plant off the right corner.
How many episodes are we gonna watch?
We are gonna watch 12. We're gonna watch half of it. So we'll watch the first. There's 26 episodes, or how many episodes are there? Let me pull it. I was trying to.
Oh, so I can actually do this in like 2 days rather than like binging it over a week.
What was that? 25. Okay, so yeah, we'll do 12. We'll do 12. And then when we come back to it, we'll watch the other 13. All right. Thank you, everybody. Stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe. Until next time, we will see you later. Goodbye.